Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your patience. We are back and ready to go with game number 1 in a best-of-3 finals. It's Team Dignitas versus Cognitive Gaming, DM.
So, in the previous rounds, we saw Omega pick up Chang'e and use her and the Divine Ruin on top of Moonflower Dance's healing reduction to completely shut down Rush's Aphrodite. Now, Rush might be a little less familiar with the character as opposed to a player like Anatoly, who's been playing her since before the launch tournament, far before she really popped onto the scene in favor. So I kind of want to see them go into that matchup. That's something I'd really be looking forward to going into finals.
Yeah, and you know, teams have really started to find better and better options for shutting down that Aphrodite, be it Chang'e or Hades.
Yeah, Hades has been doing well as well. I think Anatoly actually really started that whole situation where Hades could just pressure her out of lane early, build better items, and then really jump into the late game. But as you saw in the previous game, Aphrodite will eventually get to late game and be twice the god that Hades will be.
That's right, yeah. She just does bring so much more to the table later in the game once. Really, the Hades ultimate just doesn't do enough damage to threaten anybody. But we do have our first bans coming out. Left side of your screen is Cognitive. Right side, Dignitas. Already out of the pool, Odin and Tyr. And now Bastet as well banned out by Cog.
Yeah. Take away the cat. I mean, I think that's she's probably very close to 100% ban rate today.
Yeah, she's 100% banned. And but the thing is that Lassus is 50-50 with her. It seems like.
She does have a pretty weak early game, and given the fact that if you shut her down early, she has a pretty terrible late game. But, I mean, being able to, like, that level 5, level 6 gank just makes her so deadly. Now, it looks like Zeus is going to be banned out. Humbot's going to be auto-locked, and the option will swing over to Dig. I mean, Scylla, Wukong still on the table.
Yeah, they are, indeed. And it's definitely going to be the Wukong, and the question is it going to be Scylla, or is it going to be Ullr? And it looks like they're taking a look at Ullr here, and now... And they're going to lock him. They're going to lock him in. So it's going to be Ullr, some Wukong. Locked in for Dignitas. Back over to Cog, where they're going to be having a little fun with us. Little MLC Stealth, a little Arachne hover on, little Vulcan hovered on there.
You know what sucks is the card created for our overlay for Arachne is so awesome.
It is.
And we're never like that. Oh, Afro taken away from Anatoly. Does Anatoly have the Chang'e answer, or are we going to see him swing into Hades?
There's Poseidon locked in as well for Cog. Final pick before the first, or second bans, come out for Dignitas here. And what is it going to be? Will it be that Scylla? It almost has to be Scylla.
I mean, they can't give away. Well, at this point, they don't really need to pick this. Actually, no, she can get banned out. I don't know if they want to pick it, though. Poseidon has such a good matchup against her. But then again, Best has been known to do well against matchups that aren't in his favor.
And is he going to be better with an Agni or an Isis versus the Poseidon?
Scylla.
That's a good point.
You know, it just seems like such an obvious pick, and it is going to be locked in there. Final bans coming out as well. Dignitas, of course, is going to ban out Guan Yu, forcing Cognitive Gaming into a True Guardian pick for their support, unless they want to put Aphrodite there.
But honestly, that's Jeff Hindley. He's probably like, I just want to play Bacchus.
He just wants to play Bacchus. You're absolutely right. There is a Bacchus looming here. It's going to be Bacchus. It's going to be the old Bacchus Neath lane. I'm calling it now.
Oh, I would love to see it. But options over to Cog. I think this should really be Chang'e or Hades.
They banned Hades.
There's the Hades ban. I like it. Take it away. Force Anatoly into something he's not going to be super familiar with. Now, keep in mind, Ra still on the table here. It's going to go 5-5 with Aphrodite. It's not a true counter matchup, but even going into the late game, he'll have a much better chance at helping his team succeed. And it looks like Ra is going to be hovered on. I'd be surprised if this wasn't locked.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to put the Ra up against the Aphrodite here if they do lock it in. The question is, will we see that early Divine Ruin, maybe a Pestilence, maybe a Weakening Curse to deal with the healing, or just try to simply out-sustain? Dignitas, if they've locked this Ra, still looking for their jungler for Lassus. A lot of options there for him, of course. And Cognitive is going to be looking for their support. And we'll see. You know, they have Aphrodite, I guess, a bit of a swing option here, but most likely going to be going to the solo lane.
Bacchus Neath, Bacchus Apollo. Geb's still on the table. I mean, Geb was a character that Jeff has done amazing things with over the last couple months.
He has, but Bacchus, that belly flop, is tremendously good, and it will help them maybe catch the Scylla rollout. Not quite as efficient in terms of building, you know, that pursuit speed as fast. Oh, there's the Neath, potentially going to be picked up here. We're gonna see Neath Bacchus. Gonna just make me look good, Cog. I hope so. So yeah, they're taking a look at the Neath there. 3 more seconds for Omega to pick the support. Will Omega find it in time? 1 second. And no. Omega fails. Omega cannot find the god that he wants in time, so we're going to have to reset this game, guys.
Right.
Correct. Cognitive Gaming, not too good at alphabetizing god order.
Make sure you guys are lowering your Omegas right now.
Omega, not known for his cleverness, but known for his wonderful Smite play, and we see it there echoed out. So a little bit of a fail draft from
Where's
Cog.
Bacchus? I can't find him.
We may have a little bit of a update here from the admins. I'm not sure if there's any punishments for failure to draft. Off the top of my head, looks like we're going to await a little bit of a ruling and figure out exactly what the plan is for game number 1 here, guys. So it looks like the official ruling DM. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, what's going to happen here is each team is awarded one remake. This is going to be forced into their remake, which means at the beginning of the next game, if they get any DCs and they burn any pauses that they have, it could result in a game loss. So they're going to get one chance to remake back here, and that's going to take away their safety. This is kind of like in tennis when you hit the net, right?
That's right. You get one fault. Yeah,
fault, so that's the word.
They will get one regame, guys, and so basically what that means is if they have to regame for any other reason, someone crashes out, the servers go down, anything like that. Well, not the servers going down, but if for any reason they need to regame after this, it is a guaranteed win in the first game for Dignitas at any point during these next 3 games. So Cognitive, a little insurance out the window now, but no harm, no foul. We're gonna go ahead and redraft, and we're going to go back through it, and we're going to see exactly what it is that everyone's drafting. And you can see the draft order won't be the same. People are just going to pick what they are going to play. And I'm sure that and in this case, what has to happen is that Cog has to whisper the admins as well as a member of Team Dignitas and let them know what that pick was. So they know, we don't yet, but we can assume that it is going to be Bacchus. Shout out to Omega, though, for giving us the show.
All right, so, actually, no, it's going to be Geb. Geb is locked in that beautiful new Geb 1 skin. I love that skin. Turns into a plane.
Yeah, excited to watch that one go down again. Poseidon going to stealth, of course, and now we know the entire lineup here. It is going to be the Aphrodite going the way of Omega into the solo lane, so that solves all of the questions about where she will be played. And Lassus will be taking his... who did he draft for the jungle? Now my brain's going to fail me. Apparently him as well. Freya is going to be what would have been the final pick there for Team Dignitas. So
Freya versus Hunbot's a pretty even matchup. I mean, link in or jump in from Hunbot's. An ult can be reacted to from Valkyrie's discretion. So it's really going to come down to where Lassus uses his ultimate. If he uses it early and drops into a bad spot, he can die. If he uses it late, he can get picked off before he goes up. But if they allow Freya to do the damage that we know that she can do, that could be disastrous.
Well, we know Dignitas is better at selecting god portraits out of the list, but can they beat Cognitive on the battleground of the gods here in Smite? They have been able to do so. Well, last week they did find a victory over Cog with some tremendous Scylla play by the best. Just so surprised to see that get through again, but it is the case. And, can they keep it up? Can Dignitas win their 3rd week in a row and continue as the #1 overall seed in the world?
It's going to be rough. I mean, Cog has been practicing a lot, and I think they're getting a lot more familiar with Jeff Hindla. To just build their chemistry, they've been entering 3v3 tournaments, arena tournaments, just anything they can do aside from scrims, just to become more familiar with him. Now, when we talked to Cog in the previous seasons, everyone asked, how are they doing so well? How are they winning? They would always answer with, because friends. Because we're a tight-knit group, we have great chemistry, and we like each other, which means we can give each other criticisms and it doesn't reflect back on the team. I can say dude, I need you to rotate more because I'm having trouble and I feel like you're letting me down, and he'll respond with, dude, I know, I'm so sorry. They really have a good bond, and that's what made them so strong. And I think as they get more familiar and more just in tune with Jeff Himla, the team is just going to start skyrocketing.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they're going through the learning phase right now, but will this be the week that they show that they have really coalesced with their 5th member in Jeff Hindla? We know that individually he's very strong, and look for those objective steals. That's definitely his calling card. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us into the 3-minute countdown to move into game #1 of the best-of-3 finals between Cognitive Gaming and Team Dignitas in week #3 of the Smite World Championship North American Qualifiers. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with game #1. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game #1 in the best-of-3 finals between Cognitive Gaming North America and Team Dignitas. It is the finals, and we are here in week #3. Let's go ahead and introduce your teams. They are the Order Team, wearing the blue trunks, fighting out of the bottom of the minimap and the left side of your spectator UI. Ladies and gentlemen, Cognitive Gaming. It is Anderster in the jungle as the Hunbots, Barracuda and Jeff Hindla combining for the duo lane, Neath and Geb. It's going to be Omegatron in the solo as Aphrodite, and MLC Stealth in the mid lane as Poseidon. Their opponents today, the reigning champions of North America, wearing the red trunks. They are the Chaos team, fighting on the right side of the minimap, or the top side of the minimap and the right side of your spectator UI. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Dignitas. They are Anatoly in the solo lane as Ra, Shadow Q, and Zapman combining for the dual lane, Sun Wukong Uller, the best in the mid lane as Scylla, and the captain Lassus in the jungle as Freya.
So right off the bat, again, not too much out of the ordinary. We're seeing the normal Bumba's mass start. We're seeing both the solo laners go into the uncommon stash, probably going to rush to the Warlock stash, as we've seen from both of them repeatedly. Really, it's going to come down to warding in the beginning. But look at Jeff Hinla right now. It looks like we're going to see kind of an unusual start come out from COG, where they're going to do the small camp into the blue buff. Now, this is something that we used to see a lot, but since invades became much more popular, they don't do this because it puts blue at risk. In this case, where they know that they're going to transfer over to the blue after mid camp, it makes them just, it puts them in a very good spot, going to lane with much more experience than it normally would have.
Yeah, and they're not going to lose too many minions. Just keep an eye closely on this here and see if they do lose anything. It looks like it's going to be a quick clear coming up from Dignitas, so not looking to get any of those minion quote-unquote denies of letting your own wave kill them. Looks like it's just me a zoning play, and they're going to let Barracuda just go ahead and knock these down as well. They will lose a bit of gold, forcing this into the tower. Jeff Hinla, the Swindler, going to tank up the wave a bit here and let Barracuda try to find the auto attacks. So a slightly advantageous start for Team Dignitas, up just a few 50, 60 gold, but hey, every little bit counts. Taking a look at the mid lane matchup, MLC Stealth Poseidon versus Best Scylla, and it's going to be the Purple Pot Scylla start up against the Poseidon, so a bit more of movement speed and sustain for Poseidon here.
Pushing forward, great beam coming out from Anatoly, gonna smack into both from a very awkward angle. Omega's gonna take some serious damage as we see Freya rotating. Not sure what he's looking to do. I'm actually surprised that we didn't see Freya rotate down towards the small camp on the bottom side, something we've seen her do a lot. But either way, Omega's taking a lot of damage. Kiss gonna miss. Anatoly just barely gonna dodge those birds as well. Omega did not cover the option of being able to hug that wall. As he pushes forward, it's gonna force Andenster out. And really, not too much happening in this lane.
And look at that. Look how happy Dignitas is to just simply zone them out with the slow from Anatoly, and then have Lassus clean up the wave to shove it into the tower to get Anatoly ever so slightly ahead, and just continue on in this fashion to make sure that this Ra is safe in the solo lane, because Hunbots definitely brings a lot of gank potential to the table.
So early on, no kills yet. We're about 2 minutes in. No real major pushes either. Omega doing a great job of keeping Andy in this game. But check out what Freya just did there. Lassus rotated all the way to the top to be able to take that small camp away. And that's going to force, extra experience away from Andenster.
There's no ward spotting out stealth here. Best is calling it out. He's rotating over as well, but Dignitas wants to fight. Zapman in a lot of trouble. There's a Whirlpool. He needs to get out of here. Kraken OP finds the kill. MLC Stealth with your first blood.
That caught me completely off guard. This is what I'm talking about. Tidal meter plus Trident puts you across the map instantaneously. There's nothing a character like the Best can do, or rather the Scylla could have done there. She's just not fast enough. And the worst part about this, if you take a look at the Poseidon, he has not opted into that potion. We see a potion of Magical Might coming out from Best just to keep him in line in this lane, and it's not going to give him the same amount of damage or control that the MLC is going to have in the first 5 minutes regardless. On top of that, MLC just found himself with First Blood, meaning the Best, once that potion's going to wear off, is going to be close to 1,000 gold behind.
And I got to say, I'm going to call it right now, MLC Stealth. The timing on that, right as the wards went down. Wards that were placed right as the game started, with that rush of the supports coming out, trying to place him as quickly as possible. As they go down, he makes that rotation, and that's why it is successful. Very, very heads up. Smart play from MLC Stealth.
I like Jeff here. He completely negates the left camp. He knows that he's not going to have a chance to get it. And while Shadow Q has rotated over, he realizes that without hand, he has no chance to get that. So neither of them contesting that. And it looks like the mid camps are just going to go down. One for COG, one for Dig.
So just the first blood separating the teams right now. Cognitive with the small gold advantage, about 300 now. Andenster still spending a lot of time in the solo lane. It seems to be a very favored position for the Hunbots. It's such a good kill opportunity against a single target with that Fear No Evil ultimate.
Especially one that doesn't have a movement ability. I mean, he gains a little bit of movement speed from his passive, but he has no inherent jump or teleport. Oh, Lassus in trouble here.
They're going to burn a lot of ultimates onto him. He's going to fall likely to this Neath Arrow as it comes in, depending on how long it was charged. They're going to use an ultimate as well with the Kraken. Stealth 2 for 2 on kills now.
That, Lassus, this is what we talked about earlier. If he's able to
Barracuda in some trouble.
No.
They may go deep here. No, they don't have the transformation for Sun Wukong.
They were looking for the double stun opportunity, but they didn't quite find it. Zapman looking for an axe toss here. He could go for the burn, but he's not going to be able to find it. As Jeff rotates back in as a flame, which is always catching me off guard, you'll see Zapman forced to retreat here. Even with that shared experience, Barracuda still, thanks to the kill that was given to onto Zapman, still has a pretty decent experience advantage.
Dignitas once again losing the early game here. There's a snipe coming up for Tolly, could be in a bit of trouble. Xanister's going to go in. The kiss does hit, overhead smash. Can they find any more damage? Yes, the slow from the leap plus the auto attack. Cog able to pick up a third kill of the game. Dignitas yet to get on the board.
They're just finding everything they can. And Anatoly right there is going to suffer. That's going to hurt his push a lot because Golden Sash, I don't know if he's going to have enough to finish that up by the time he leaves the base. Whereas you're taking a look at Omegatron, he's sitting at 1800 right now, getting very close to his Warlock Sash being done.
And really, it's inexcusable that Anatoly dies in that solo lane without the Hunbot's ultimate. They catch him at the blue buff, where it wasn't there. They pin him in there, do a lot of damage, and he comes back, tries to get a little bit of extra gold with the Searing Pain onto the wave, and ends up dying. And the fact of the matter is that they can't be dying when the Hunbot's ultimate is down, or they're going to lose this game.
Yeah. I mean, even so, take a look at Omega right now. The Warlock Sash is finished. No wards, no other items, no boots, no abilities. He just gets the Warlock. No wards, no abilities, no other items, but Warlock Sash is not done. On top of that, he's still a level behind. This is going to ensure that really Aphrodite can control this entire push herself.
That's right, yeah. And now with the Warlock Sash done, there's really not any killing Omega for some time. It's going to take damage items from Freya to really pose a big threat to that very, very high HP target.
Look at Omega just going in!
Just a lot of damage on the Tolly now. They're going to use a Neath ultimate as well. Xanister's rotating over. They want to find another kill on a Tolly. Will they get Searing Pain cleverly used there to stop the Neath ultimate from stunning, but it doesn't matter because Andy is there, willing and ready to dive the tower. Does get body blocked by the minions momentarily. Not enough to kill him, however. Will we see a fight over here at the left side? Mid-camp doesn't look like it. Shadowq going to disengage well there and make his way over to the right, where Cog is going to go aggress with their Hand of the Gods still up.
You know, the only saving grace for Dignitas in that was the fact that Anatoly went back and that finished his Warlock Sash. I mean, that's really all. If you're going to look for the bright side, find that silver lining. At least now his Warlock Sash is done. But the issue here is that he's still level 7. Take a look at Omega right now, level 9. Lass is going to take a huge amount of damage for his trouble as he tries to burn some health right back to Omega, but Omega's got the jukes. Only takes one hit from those gumballs, and he's going to be able to walk back and act like nothing even happened.
Yeah, Omega looking really strong in this game so far. Warlock Sash already done. Definitely feeling confident. MLC Stealth is going to be rushing a Doom Orb here, it looks like, on the Poseidon, whereas it's going to be a Book of Thoth just being finished from the Best, but Best, Book of Thoth going up against the 10 boots and potential Doom Orb as well. Take a look at the left side here. Zapman finds the stun on the Anister, which may be enough to save his life. It appears it is. No ultimate available from the Hun bots.
Yeah, no ultimate available from Barracuda either. Both of them used on Anatoly, who's just trying to keep himself alive at this point against Aphrodite. 2 levels separate the team, which means at this point Omega's looking very close to maxing both of his skills at this point. He's going to want to get that back off done as soon as possible. 370 base damage plus the scaling, and then of course I think it's 330 scaling plus scaling on the birds as well. He can do a lot of damage very quickly, especially to a character like Ra, who at this point doesn't really have a way to escape his damage.
Yeah, absolutely right. And another thing that Cog has just executed on tremendously well in this game so far has been every time these ultimates are available, they're using them to find kills. The Neath ultimate has come out 3 times now, and they've found 2 kills off of those ultimates. Oh, this is a bad position for Dignitas. Anister's there. Looks like they are going to retreat back into the tower. He could have found a Fear No Evil there potentially, as it is just coming off cooldown.
Omega gets the kiss off, but no follow-up from the birds as Anatoly surrounds himself by minions inside of his healing wave just to try to keep himself alive, but I think he took a little bit more damage than he was ready to deal with. Mid lane, we still have a push going on. You see Jeff Henla took some damage there, but not really enough to deter him. He's sitting level 8 right now, which is going to tie him with ShadowQ. Everyone's really doing a great job of farming, but we have an ultimate come out. Kraken's gonna find 2!
MLC Stealth is just lights out. Now 4 kills from Kraken so far. And that's going to be a Gold Fury going the way of Cog as well. 8 minutes, 30 seconds into the game. They're going to find it. Zapman's going to come over and try to harass, but Barracuda's going to follow suit as well. And I don't think it's going to be enough to get the disengage here. Jeff Henley going to continue tanking it up, although he is a bit low. And Zapman throwing out the damage, but MLC Stealth on his tail. Zapman needs to be careful here. If he gets Spirit Arrowed, he could be in some trouble. There's a knockup. Spirit Arrow does miss, so Zapman can now continue. Uh-oh, there's a Neath ultimate, though. Zapman taking a lot of damage, but they're not going to continue going in. ShadowQ's still here. What's our Hog status? Hog 2 versus Hog 1. Oh, Zatman does get
doesn't
picked up.
taken, but Shadowq's in a bad spot here. What's he looking to do? The Gold Fury was accidentally pulled. Barra can't take that for too long. MLC's going to chase this one down, but no one else is around. They're just, oh my god, MLC with the passive, not to mention the Trident able to push that one down. Last is finally in the neighborhood looking for the steal. What are they going to try to do here? He's up in the air. I'm a monster. Dignitas finds the Gold Fury and pushes them back. Still 8 kills down, but now they're only down by 800 gold. The greed is real.
Somehow Dignitas manages to find a way back into this game. Sloppy play by Cog, chasing the kill. They do find 2, but they give up the Gold Fury there to a Valkyrie's Discretion plus I'm a Monster from Scylla. So Dignitas with the Glimmer of Hope after a very, very poor early game. But DM, it is still 8-0 here in player kills. And the experience advantage at 4K. Gold dropping down back close to even, but the experience is really starting to show its ugly head.
Man, they just, you know, it's funny because we saw so much teamwork come out. We saw cross-level Neathults in tandem with the Hun bots, right? We saw, you know, a Neathult come out into mid lane the same time the Kraken went off. We saw MLC Stealth chase the Freya after she was Neathulted into the air to land in the Kraken. We saw MLC Stealth throw a Whirlpool over the wall at the small camp after a rotation back to help Jeff Hinla get the camp. And then we saw them just kind of scattered all about the Gold Fury. I don't think anyone on COG really had a good idea of what their end game was in that entire engagement. Now, they did find some kills, I think 3 or 4 total, but in the end, giving up the Gold Fury, I don't know that that was worth it.
No, and really, when you look at it here, oh, there's a Neath ultimate coming to the right side lane. Last is in a lot of trouble. Will go down to Andister and Omegatron's combination. They've been all over that blue buff for Anatoly. But, I mean, COG has drafted a team that should be winning at this stage in the game. Granted, maybe not by this much, but they definitely should have the advantage right now. Dignitas, a much later game-skewed team with the Scylla, Freya, and Ullr combination. So as long as the towers don't go down here, they should be okay transitioning into the mid-game. And if they can keep it within maybe 5,000 to 8,000 gold and maybe under 10,000 experience, they'll be okay by the time players start hitting level maybe 15 through 20. They should start getting back into this game.
You know, I think people are really starting to see why Poseidon has been the flavor of the month. I mean, just being able to catch people off guard with that Kraken, it controls so much space. And Whirlpool, once again, really has found its way back to it. And I think the reason to that is the speed buff coming out from Trident, being able to keep your movement speed up for as long as, you know, the Poseidon players really have. It allows the rotations to be so strong, and MLC Stealth has just been on point.
Yeah, he has found a lot of kills, but Poseidon will fall off here in about the next 15 minutes. He will stop being quite the same force that he is right now. Especially once those Aegis Ambulances start getting ranked up from Dignitas. Already finished on Lassus to try to avoid that damage. He's been on the receiving end of a Kraken a couple times already this game.
Right lane, Omega's just keeping Anatoly locked down, 2-level advantage. Mid lane, the best not really able to convert anything into kills yet. Level 12 to level 14, 2-level advantage again for COG. Andy, 2 levels ahead of Zatman. Over in the left lane, or rather, I'm sorry, Lassus, level 12 Zap versus 12 Barracuda. So Zap just trying to keep his team alive as we see some major aggression coming out. We're going to see the bird form come out from Shadowq, but he's going to jump in, and he's going to go for the ult onto Zapman here. They did not choose the correct targets, and as we see Shadowq go up into the air, this could be a re-engage as Jeff Hinla's taking some serious... Oh, but there's the Kraken.
Kraken does a lot of damage to Zatman, having to avoid the Whirlpool, goes down to the Trident from MLC Stealth. There's a Geb ultimate as well. Lassus is going to be one to try to turn and burn on. Barely taking the skies is Lassus now. They're not going to try to dive the tower for him. And in comes...
Look at the best!
What a Whirlpool there. Best going to get exploded. MLC Stealth playing lights out this game.
I mean, Barracuda, look at him diving the tier 1 here, unafraid. This is a really good opportunity for them to take pretty much any objective they want on the map, and it looks like they're grouping, but MLC Stealth goes around the tower. Andy looking for the kill as well. Shadowq going to be forced out, and Lassus takes a very unfortunate death. Not only does he die, which of course gives the experience and gold, but he died on the end of that fight. He wasn't farming for the 30 seconds that fight was going on. And now for another 25 seconds, he's going to be respawning, and then he's going to take another 25 seconds to get back into the farm game, meaning he just lost an incredible amount of time, whereas Andy just went back to the base now, got all that farm, got kills, and has already left the base. That's a lot of trouble.
As we were talking about, as long as these towers don't continue to fall for Dignitas and that hole gets really, really large for them, they should be okay once they hit their late game timings, but first tower of the map going down, and Omega harassing Anatoly away from being able to defend his tier 1 on the right side. Looks like it is ready to fall as well, and if the next Gold Fury goes COG's way, they'll be up 5,000 gold before you can blink an eye.
You know, it may be too early to say here, but it looks like the COG that we knew from last season is back.
Yeah, I mean, MLC Stealth playing like crazy and the rest of the team not feeding, and Barracuda eventually carrying the game. is what we used to see. But, you know, will they keep it up? Can Stealth continue this dominance through the rest of the mid-game phase here
Oh, no, and that's Holy again.
That's a tower.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, the creeps are about to respawn, but look at Lass has already used the Hand of the Gods, and he's going to throw the teleport in. Actually, overhand smash is going to find it. Lass is not in a good spot, and the best is in a terrible spot right now. Banish going to throw him out of the Sikkim, and it looks like they're just going to retreat here, but MLC's not really willing to let this one go. Turns his sights onto Lassus, misses the Trident, or rather misses the Tidal Surge, but before he can go up, finds the shot, and mid tower will go down, but the engagement's not over yet. Barda Shadowcube finds himself in the mid lane.
Oh, man. MLC Stealth going to rotate back around. There's a Whirlpool on to Shadowcube. He's going to try to ult out of there. It's going to be in time, but they find another tower in the mid lane. Right side tower still falling, and the gold gap continues to extend. 3,300 now in favor of Cognitive, and maybe another Gold Fury on the back of it.
Gold Fury's up now. Shadowcube's going to hang around. They need to burn this down. Don't try to go for the kills. Don't get crazy. Just find the Gold Fury, take it, and get out. Shadowcube knows that it's done. He's heading back to the base. 1,500 for Cog.
4,500 gold advantage to Cognitive right now. MLC Stealth still hunting for kills. That man in some trouble if there's a Kraken to be used here for Stealth. No, it is not up. But let's take a look at his in-hand gold. Almost 1,700 gold in hand on Stealth right now. That is a finished Polynomicon and either a whole bunch of pen from an Obsidian rank 2 or start building it at the Hootie. Let's see what he goes for here. There's the Poly.
Aegis. Maybe
beats 3 and some Sprint.
Yeah.
Sprint and wards. Okay, so that's what he's going to go for. Keep the mobility up. Has a lot of burst damage potential now with the Kraken into... so the Kraken knocks up if you hit someone in the center of it, which guarantees you a Polynomicon hit, which is a lot of damage.
I mean, especially considering his build. I mean, Doom Orb with no deaths at this point. Right? And then on top of that, Shoes of the Magi's giving him 50. Poly's giving him 75. He can combo you. I mean, Whirlpool Kraken shot from Poly. That's pretty much death.
Yeah, I got to say, this is the point in my games where I'm saying we need to concede this one. 9-0 Poseidon with a Doom Orb at this stage in the game. It's just going to be very hard to deal with. Granted, these are pro players, not me. So, that's best. You're going to Aegis out that Kraken there. But, I mean, that's going to force him out of the fight for a long time. And now Dignitas is going to try to come to the mid lane, but it's just so much room created.
Himlo's going to look for it. You can see him moving forward, trying to find an opportunity, but he's going to get poked out. Blink's going to get put onto that combat cooldown for the 5 seconds. He's sticking around. Left side, we're going to see Andy steal away the buff once again. Zatman trying to get handsy with Bear is going to take a Spirit Arrow. Whirlpool, he's stuck in there, and he's down.
Man, that Hunbot's ultimate into those Whirlpools is just forcing people into positions they really don't want to be in. Right side lane, Omega pushing Toli into the tower yet again. Toli's had a very hard time dealing with the aggression this game from Omega. Omega playing this Aphrodite like he's playing Vamana, just constantly diving into the tower, constantly putting out the damage onto Toli, and Toli has no answer as of yet.
Now, keep in mind, guys, we are in Week 3 of the Smite World Championships. Now, with that, Team Dignitas has won 2 times already. This means that even if they lose today, at second place, they're guaranteed to keep their first seed. But this is probably the first game that we've seen Dignitas in that really looks like they could lose. I mean, last game was very close as well, but this game has been extremely dominant. 5,400 gold, 12,600 experience separate the two teams massively in favor of Cognitive.
Yeah, 15 kills to nothing. All 3 Tier 1 towers are down. Cognitive swarming into the Dignitas jungle, forcing out an ultimate in the mid lane from the best, and MLC Stealth Poseidon nearly level 20, which means he has a tremendous amount of magical and physical protection scaled just from the levels, plus the HP. Also, this just coming in, Game Changers beat Snipe to take 3rd place this week. Looks like I was right on face-off. Game Changers finding their way into the top 3 this week.
Oh, Kraken, we have a Cataclysm coming out, but it doesn't quite find it before the Valkyrie's Discretion goes off. Omega keeping his team alive as MLC Stealth goes for the chase. Zatman on reaction, getting out of the Whirlpool, but he's forced into the Aegis in a bad spot. He's going to have to look for the stun. Overhand smash, not going to quite go off. He's still at 5. Oh, he does not find the 2. 3 members rotate in, but look at what Team Dignitas has given up in return. They have just completely lost their footing here, and will Anatoly down with 40 seconds remaining. This is really Cog's chance to push in. This might even be a Fire Giant.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be the mass recalls potentially setting up for that Fire Giant. Taking at the looks at the wards here. Dignitas will spot it out. They have enough duration on either of these wards here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The one closest actually does go down now. So if they sneak in there quickly, it looks like there's an opportunity for Cog to get in there unnoticed by Dignitas. But Lass is still roaming around in that area. Going to make it tough. Taking a look at the items coming out. It's going to be a Rada Tahuti, it looks like, for both, or at least a lost artifact for MLC Stealth and Omega. So either a lot of cooldown or a lot of damage coming out between these two gods.
So Andy respawns Anatoly up in a few seconds. Mid camps are going down. You can see the right side would look like it went to Dignitas. Left side about to come up as well. MLC Stealth ready to go here. But right side, you can see, I'm not sure what Lassus is doing. It looks like he is going to go back to the base there and try to spend some money. But we're almost 20 minutes into this game, and Lassus has just started the Demonic Grip. You see the Emerald Ring coming online. Now Jeff rotating in, trying to find Shadow Q. It looks like he's going to be able to just barely get away from the rollout and the Shockwave, as the Fire Giant is kind of being contested at this point. Stealth rotates in, and he's looking for damage.
Banished out, in goes Anderson with the Blink plus the ultimate. Shadow Q going to take a spill here. That almost guarantees this is going to be a Fire Giant attempt now, because there is going to be no Hog 3 available for Shadow Q for 30 seconds, but Stealth has other plans going deep onto Lassus here. Whoa! That's a lot of damage there coming out from the Water Slug, killing off the Queen of the Valkyries. Now Anatoly, the one getting aggressed by Omega. In comes Anderson over the top. Jeff Himley going to throw out an ultimate as well to keep Anatoly in place. Beats out, trying to juke in his heal, but he's going to fall as well. The spread shot there by Poseidon so strong. Zatman in a lot of trouble as well. Stealth is just wreaking havoc in these fights, throwing in the shotgun auto attacks. There they are. Zatman going to fall to one more auto attack. The jukes are so real. No. Down he goes the Barracuda. And this is a deicide for Cognitive Gaming. Ladies and gentlemen, they can wipe the towers. They can take a Fire Giant. They can do whatever they please at this point. 21-1. It's safe to call this one a stomp.
You know, if I was a betting man, and I am, by the way, I would have really bet that that would have been an F6. I'm very surprised that Dignitas did not opt to throw this one, you know, to the ether, get started into game 2, because at this point, this is just pure frustration. But you got to give it to Dignitas here, because this really shows that they're one of the best teams in the world. They're down 20 kills, and they're only down 7K. That's incredible.
And I don't think that Dignitas is really ever should concede games, considering how often they come back in the last few minutes. Lassus in a lot of trouble here. Is going to go down to MLC Stealth's Polynomicon. Stealth godlike spree at 13-0.
Oh, Shadow Q's in there. They're looking for the steal. They're going to have to turn into it. Now, Somersault Cloud's up into the air. It's still at about 50% with Stealth rotating in. It looks like they're trying to reset it here, and yes, it will get reset.
So, reset comes out. Shadow Q a bit early for the steal, but does force the reset, as you mentioned. Anatoly there as well for a Searing Pain over the top. But he doesn't have a lot of damage between the cooldown boots, the Warlock Sash, and the Mail of Renewal. Really more of a tank at this point. Searing Pain base damage is respectable, but the scaling late game damage is really what you're looking for there at this stage. It's just only going to tickle, really, any of the targets for Cog with their level advantages. And as we mentioned, or as I mentioned earlier, I mean, the level advantage is really should be kind of considered as a huge protection advantage, because the amount of scaling per level that people get is quite high. But Best in some trouble. The mid lane forced to Beads out that Neath ultimate, so Beads down on the Best for 60 seconds here as Cog continues to aggress, and now they're going to take a look at Anatoly.
Well, I'm surprised they didn't get the tower on the right side. They kind of split for the tower, and the Fire Giant wound up getting neither. And now Lassus just trying to bait. I don't see him going very far. He does go down, and so he get collapsed on by 5 members of Cognitive. And now, again, the Fire Giant's kind of at risk, but we're going to see Jeff, Himla, Omega, and Barracuda all head back to the base, whereas we see Stealth and Andy just try to do work towards the mid lane. Waves are getting pushed. Andy's sitting about 2/3 health here. Gold Fury has popped and respawned, and it looks like they're going to head for that instead.
It looks like it's about time for Cog to try to break the base. The shell going to come out for Omega, and that indicates to me that they're ready to 5-man and try to end this thing, getting the extra protections there to try to go toe-to-toe with Dignitas, including that Titan. And how often is it that you see Poseidon soloing the Gold Fury, as Omega has just way too much damage?
Yeah, I mean, you could see, like, MLC Stealth just had no trouble there. I mean, Andy came over and helped him out, but that wouldn't have been an issue for him. Level 20, he's going to head back and check out. He has 800 in-hand gold. Now, he can opt right now into Chronos Pendant, or he can wait a little bit longer. Yeah, it looks like he's going to wait. You see some wards coming out. He's going to wait a little bit longer. He's at 700. He's going to need about another 700 to finish up that Rod of Tahuti, but given the fact that he still hasn't died, that Rod's going to scale super hard with that Doomor being still fully stacked up.
And they still have a lot of time here to play with this Cognitive. Lassus only level 13, and Freya really the one that's going to transition them heavily into late game along with the Best. Zatman's still a way off. He needs a lot of gold to really come online. Still Rageblade done. He needs to work towards that Deathbringer to really be able to go toe-to-toe in these fights. Barracuda not that far ahead individually of Zatman, only about 800 gold, but it's a Lassus where you got to look to see, man, if they can somehow stall until he gets the levels, maybe then they have a glimmer of hope, but until then, this is Cog's game.
You see Barrett just rushing him by himself, not really afraid, just trying to burn this tower down. not really to gain the gold so much as just to make sure they can't use it as a defensive, like, escape anymore. Now, we saw the Sikkim go off just there. It's going to be back. Sentinel going to be used as well. Cognitive might take this opportunity to rotate towards the Gold Fury, but Stealth has found himself massively out of position. Dodges 2 stuns thanks to the movement speed given to him by Sprint, Trident, and the passive, and he's going to turn his sights back into the fight. The best super low. He's out of here. Now they're going to turn in. Omega's jumping in pretty deep here. Zatman takes the birds. They're going to dive even farther. Lassus is out of the fight. Zatman's taking too much damage. Shadow Q needs to heal himself up, especially after taking that title surge. So much is used, and Andy's going so deep.
Lassus can't make it over the wall, force the Aegis Amulet out. That is a very, very dead Queen of the Valkyries to the Kraken there. MLC Stealth looks like he's hit a few people with Krakens after their Aegises have expired. He got that timing exactly right. They won't get the Phoenix here. It looks like, though, Dignitas does hold. They lose a little bit, but, I mean, with...
Barrett with the beads to reset the cooldown to lock him down inside the Whirlpool. Jeff's at risk here. He's taking a lot. He's going to go down, but they're going to turn this one around. Anatoly is very, very low. Forced to beats here. Back off to separate the distance. Shadow Q goes down. Anatoly just trying to escape at this point. Spirit Arrow's going to miss, but MLC Stealth is hot on his trail. Sprint's going to get popped. Whirlpool's going to be ready to go in just a second. Kiss is going to miss. Birds is going to be separating him into the wall, and back off will find the kill.
But still no Phoenix picked up for Cognitive Gaming. Dignitas, even through all of that, continues to hold. The over-pursuit is unpunished by Cognitive now. And the game still rages on 25 minutes, and it's just, you know, more time for Lassus to potentially come online. The best nearing level 20 where Scylla will get a tremendous amount of magical power as well. Dignitas actually finds a banish out onto Omega. They may find a return kill here. The ultimate use, back off use as well. Omega, yeah, you're going to fall there, so some experience going the way of Team Dignitas. Yeah, but
Lassus
I mean,
is under half. Best is at 2/3. He has to back. Zatman's going to back as well. And he's in there. He didn't stop Zatman, but he stopped the Best. He's looking for an opportunity, and the Best is going to take a lot of damage here. I'm a monster. 25% movement speed, but Barracuda gets a kill because the archers turned to him and finished him up.
That's rough.
That hurts.
Yeah, that hurts the pride.
Oof.
Right in the pride there. Stuff.
Jumping in, Andy again forcing out the Valkyrie's discretion, which basically just tickles one bot. He's gone, man. Lassus is out once again.
And now 7-0 spree, unstoppable as Barracuda. As Cog bears down the right side, they want this Phoenix and they smell blood.
I mean, they should at this point. With Omega being gone, they're not going to have the same amount of potential with Sustain. But look at Jeff Hindla, unafraid, jumping in there, stunning them out, and they turn their sights to the Flaming Bird as it starts to whittle down. It's getting lower and lower. No one blocking Barracuda's shots. They finally rotate in. He needs one more hit, maybe two, but they can't find it. And again, Dignitas, by the grace of the Lord, somehow saves it, and they're turning their sights back around. Jeff's super low. 2 more shots are going to do it, and he does get picked up once again.
Can Dignitas sneak a Fire Giant now that they have Jeff? I mean, it seems like that's the only chance they have here.
Well, I don't think they need to back here. Don't forget.
Look
Oh,
at
the Kraken! Aegis.
Wow, the reactions from Tully. I mean, actually, they had the ward there. Never mind. That's a normal play. He saw it there the whole time. Let's not get too excited, boys.
But check it out. Omega's back in here, and he's going to be able to heal up Andy to be able to keep this Fire Giant dream alive. But I can't believe that Dignitas hasn't even lost the Phoenix yet. This is incredible.
Oh, wow. Andy's going to go in. Ultimate coming out as well. Crits onto the Best. Best forced out. Leap comes in over the top from Andy. Down goes the Best. Fight rages on. They finally take down Stealth, does Tully, but is that going to be enough? Anister banished out. Lassus trying to do the damage where he can. Tully falling quite low. Tully goes down now. It's just Shadowq trying to disrupt Barracuda from crushing Lassus. And Lass, that's not looking good for you, buddy. There's the Aegis Amulet. One more auto attack needed. There it is. Divine now as Barracuda as he starts his own streak of 9-0. And this is going to be a Fire Giant attempt, it looks like, for Cognitive. Nope, we're going to think better of it. We're going to go look for a kill on to Shadowq. There, the pin does miss, and Shadowq going to juke his way to safety, it appears. Probably not enough damage between the two of them to pick up a kill onto the Sun Wukong.
Well, he has to be careful here. Shadowq still has a chance to steal this away. I mean, taking a look at the board right now, he doesn't have his ultimate, but he still has different ways to get in. I mean, the Ox form can knock everyone out of the way. He can go for the steal, but Andy finally coming back with full health is just looking to keep Shadowq out of this. And if Shadowq doesn't have the option to get in, or it looks like he's going to use the Ox early, he doesn't. Oh, Somersault Cloud comes back online. He's going to be able to go for a steal here, which means they're going to have to delay. The Fire Giant's going to do a lot of damage, but he's forced to jump out. Ultimate coming out from Andy. Bird's going to tick away. That's going to be the kill. That'll be Fire Giant. And finally, Cognitive finds themselves with the buff.
But can they find their way into a Phoenix kill here, DM? They're going to look at the orange buff. This could be bad news for Zatman. There's the reset. Andy going to go and pick that up. His crits are 640 damage right now.
I mean, that's what he's looking for. He's just trying to get as much damage as possible. And look at the build, like we talked about before. The major functions and items are online. He has penetration from Jotun's Wrath, Warrior's Tabby, Warrior Tabby, and Titan's Bane. He also has cooldown reduction coming out from Jotun's Wrath as well, and then Deathbringer. 70% chance to crit after an ability is used, with 50% extra crit damage. With that amount of pen and that amount of damage boost, you can't afford to allow Ananster to do what he's been doing. The issue here is that they can't stop him. With Omegatron attached to him, he has heals inherent. He has inherent beads in Aegis. And while Zatman did just find himself a Gold Fury, him and Anatoly are out of position, and they could really go for this Phoenix at this point, and there's not much they could do about it with the Fire Giant buff available.
I just want to 20 assists for Ananster.
Support Humbots.
Yeah, casual 20 assists on the jungler. And he's going to find a couple more here as Shadow Q and Lassus are in some serious trouble. H-Shell comes out. You can see just how squishy Andy is as he's forced out. But Shadow Q, another death. His 4th of the game. It looks like 5th of the game, I'm sorry. And a 21st assist for the Hunbots.
Incredible. I mean, Andy has just been completely amazing this game.
Yeah.
So
wow, so this is coming in from production, it sounds like. That in this game, Jeff Hinla, not Jeff Hinla, Shadow Q with his 5th death is more deaths than he's had in the previous rest of the season combined.
And he finds 2 more kills here. He's chasing down Zatman. He's looking for the bounce, but I don't think it's Becco. He dives into the fountain, and he does give away his first life of the game. Just trying to find something. 4 members of COG just trying to stay alive. Back off. Not really going to do enough to keep him alive. And Zatman does find a double. Unfortunately, it just wasn't in time. And a 30-minute slugfest underneath these Phoenixes is eventually going to fall with Dignitas' first loss of the season.
Cognitive just kept closing doors there, DM. Just anytime Dignitas looked like there was any opportunity for them to come back into it, they just kept on shutting it down. They kept Ra way down so he wasn't a factor in the team fights, and they kept Freya from even finding level 15 this game. Very, very dominant performance by Cognitive, looking like Cognitive of old, as you noted.
So, things to note here going into Game 2 is that Dignitas has opted into first pick every single time, or rather second pick every single time. Do you think they're going to switch it up going into Game 2?
I'm going to say no.
You think they're going to just stay the course?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if tactically that's the best decision. I'm just assuming that that's the thing that they're going to do, guys. So we're actually going to move right into the next game here, so you get to see DM and I type into the client here as we get linked up onto the players. But, Dignitas, how do they come back into this one? Ra versus Aphrodite did not work.
I mean, that, for all intents and purposes, that is an even matchup. The issue here is that Anatoly just didn't have the ward coverage. Hunbots just ran the floor. And, we've talked a lot about Bastet over the last couple weeks, and I've been trying to preach it today that Hunbots might be equal to Bastet. Andy really showing the potential there. I mean, the control is there, the movement is there, especially coupled with someone like Poseidon. If you force your Aegis or your beads majorly against Fear No Evil, and then that Whirlpool hits you, goodbye.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. So, are they going to ban Poseidon? I mean, it was like COG was perfectly prepared for that Scylla pick, and they were like, go for it. As long as we get Poseidon, we are very confident.
You see that build that Stealth has, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
Not insane. Of defense, just
all mobility.
Offense.
I mean, just relying on his mobility to find the damage. He's a burst mage. I mean, it's clever stuff.
I mean, that was just, the teamwork was there the entire game. Sans the Gold Fury fight, which was a little bit of a mess. That looked like COG from last season. That's got to be demoralizing if you're Dignitas. Even more so if you're Snipe, who lost the Game Changers today, especially with the way that COG has been playing. I mean, that's got to hurt them most of all.
Yeah, it's going to be... Dignitas definitely has their work cut out for them here. Moving into game number 2, they have to overcome their own kind of sadness at the immensity of the stomp that was from COG. I mean, they were way behind that game and find a way to get themselves back into this. And Lassus really hasn't had a good day today. I think that Athena? Do you put him on Athena? You put him on Loki? Like, what, you put him on something that he just really likes to play? I mean, how do you get him and his head back into this one, as he's had basically no strong performances today, and he seems to be the kind of player that really snowballs off of those strong performances.
I would like to see them do exactly what you're saying. Maybe veer away from some of the top picks and just try to play things that are going to maybe mess with Cognitive's mind a little bit. Throw out the Loki, maybe throw out the Cupid. I mean, Uller didn't, despite the fact that he had 5 and 6, that was a lot of cleanup potential from Uller. He could have done that with Cupid for all intents and purposes. Throw Zatman onto something different. Throw them for a loop and try to just maybe catch COG off guard.
Absolutely. Well, we should be moving the game here any second, guys. If it continues on a bit, we will we will throw it over to a splash screen for a moment. But for now, I mean, it's looking like, obviously it's a must-win game for Dignitas. Obviously they have to, or they get knocked out. But what's your guess here? I mean, do they come out with a similar team and just try to roll it again? Do they ban out the Hun bots? I mean, was that the problem here?
I think Hun bots is definitely a big problem. His movement is amazing. I mean, he has a teleport, he has a jump. You can opt into blink if you want it. This time, Andy actually opted into beads, which allowed him to do a little bit more. But aside from that, he also has a giant map-controlling AoE fear. I mean, that really puts the enemy team in a bad spot. And if you don't immediately counter-initiate off of that and group up and find a way back into it, the team is just too scattered to fight. And then, you allow your team to run through the ultimate and pick off one person by one person. And that's what we saw. Not to mention, let's talk a little bit more about Poseidon. The rotations coming out from Stealth were just ridiculous.
That level 1 rotation right after the wards dropped was such a clever play. And it found the kill on probably the perfect target, keeps that man down, make sure that he doesn't have the opportunity to really box Barracuda well. And they were able, because of that kill, to have the Hun bots, yet again, as we see Hun bots, just camp that solo lane. And just keep mid lane and solo lane down and in fear of that giant AoE fear.
All right, so getting into Game 2 here, we talked a little bit about what should change. Let's talk a little bit about what shouldn't change. Right off the bat, you got to talk about Jeff Hinless Geb. I mean, people were spouting Bacchus. I love it.
Well, guys, it does look like that we will be pushing this over to a quick waiting screen as we wait for there seems to be some kind of issue with a player computer or connection or something like that. So give us just a couple of minutes, guys. We'll be right back with game number 2. Can Cognitive close it out, be the #1 seed this week in North America, or will Dignitas find a repeat and force a game 3? Find out next. Don't go anywhere. For DM Brandon, I'm hi-rez Bart. We'll see you for game number 2 of the finals. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The 3 minutes were a lie, but this picking and banning phase is not. And as predicted, DM Brandon, Dignitas, first pick here, so we were wrong.
Yeah, it's strange. It looks like they are going to try to change it up. Maybe they're going to look to either grab Bastet or Hunbots. I think the issue here really is that Freya just did not work. Oh, that Poseidon ban.
Woo! That stings.
That's rough, man. That is rough. And you can hear Stealth giggling softly. I told you, you can hear it in your head.
I can see him publicly giggling on Twitter right now as he says, I think Poseidon still needs a buff.
What?
Yeah, Stealth just tweeting that as the picking phase goes out.
What? He has the highest damage potential aside from Scylla, not to mention the best movement in the game. What in the
Somehow
world?
I think there was sarcasm detected there, but Bastet and Hunbots now taken off the board as well, and Dignitas doesn't want to have any of that Poseidon or Hunbots that was so effective in the last game.
Smart. Very smart. Bastet going to be banned out as well, so major junglers not going to be available. Cog, honestly, this should be a tier ban. There's some OP picks still on the table, but they gotta shut Lassus down. But they're going to opt into Odin. Zeus is on the table here. Tyr still on the table. Aphrodite. Sun Wukong.
This is the problem now for Dig. They're going to draft likely the Zeus here. And yes, it will be the Zeus here. And that means they're going to give Scylla to MLC and Sun Wukong to Jeff Hinla most likely.
I don't know. I would take the Tyr right now. Don't let Lassus have Tyr. Not to mention Andy's Tyr is amazing.
Andy does have a great Tyr, it's true.
It would be my pick that they take Tyr away from Lassus. They got to keep Lassus shut down. Going 0-12, that's got to be frustrating. And making him play a jungler that's not even close to top tier, I mean, yeah, I like it.
Wow, look at them. They're going to take a look at Tyr. Not locked in just yet. Aphrodite as well, so you could be spot on here. This would be something that we really haven't seen in some time. Not taking Sun Wukong in the first 2 picks when available.
Scylla Wukong still on the table, which just might be the Dignitas double pick.
Now they won't take Scylla, unless they want to put it into the solo lane, or put Zeus there, but just not typical true. Dignitas. So Cog knows that they can likely pick up Scylla with their 3rd pick in this phase. Tyr, Aphrodite off the board, so targeted counter picks to Anatoly, Shadow Q with that Aphrodite, and Tyr taken away from Lassus, as you mentioned. Anderson really the godfather of Tyr jungle anyway, so he should do quite well. But Uller makes it through to the 3rd round of picking and is being considered heavily by Dignitas here, it appears, where Sun Wukong being the big outstanding support that likely to be picked up, and I would not be surprised to see both of these locked in.
So let's talk again about junglers. Right now, Hunbots, Bastet, top 2 taken off the table. Tyr, definitely 3rd after that, taken off the table. After that, you're likely looking at Nemesis, Mercury. Now they have a chance to ban
Whoa,
one of those outright.
whoa. Hold the phone.
Hades. They just gave up Sun Wukong?
They gave up Sun Wukong to pick up Hades, knowing that, or expecting that Cog takes Scylla here. Would be my expectation. Because if not, the Scylla is going to be banned out in this next phase, almost 100%. Forcing out likely the Agni versus the Zeus. I would be my expectation.
Agni is definitely the smart pick here. Now Scylla can definitely get caught very easily. But though I'm a Monster does make her CC immune, she'll be able to walk out even if Sentinel's down. Yeah,
so Cog, smart money here for Cog takes Sun Wukong because there's still plenty of mages left on the board that Zeus is not tremendously dominant over. So would be Sun Wukong as they're taking a look at him here. And I would expect this to be locked in any moment now as they are just waiting on the final countdown. Now going back, taking another look. Okay, overlay, please. It's Neith. I'm just gonna go ahead and call it now. They did actually switch that Sun Wukong to Neith. They didn't lock in the Sun Wukong there, so ignore the Sun Wukong pick there. There it is. It is Neith. Locked in for Cog.
Jungler bans. Freya actually taken off the table here. That's going to force Lassus into Nemesis. If I was them, I think I would have forced him into the Freya. You know, going in from last game, he had to have been frustrated. I don't know if he would have reprised the role.
That's right, yeah. But they're going to ban it out all the same. It makes sense. Magical Jungler, if they don't have that available, it does not give you quite the same options. Final ban coming up from Dignitas here.
You have to consider.
They got to ban Scylla, right?
If they picked up the Freya there, that's Magical Jungler, Magical Mid, Magical Solo.
Nah, fair enough, yeah.
But we're going to call, I'm going to predict the Nemesis. Scylla's going to get banned out there. It was definitely the obvious pick. Smart play by Dignitas. Now we have, option again. It looks like Sun Wukong's going to be grabbed. I can't believe he made it that far down.
One of the deepest we're ever going to see Sun Wukong go there. Picked up now, still for Cognitive Gaming. Their team's starting to come together here, looking pretty strong over on the side of Dignitas. They're going to take a look at Geb.
Lassus is hovered onto Geb. Now, the jungler at this point should be missing, which means if Lassus is picking Geb for somebody else, that means the jungler's already on the table?
No. They'll run Hades in the solo, Ullr, Geb, Zeus in the mid, and still have
right, but why wouldn't Lassus just pick his own jungler then?
I guess they want to see what Cog is going to... Well, no. Tyr would be your jungler.
This is their option. There's Loki, there's Geb. Okay,
Loki, Geb, okay.
You see my train of thought, though.
Yeah, you're right. But there it is. It's going to be Loki.
Thought he was going to Hades jungle. That would have been awesome.
So like we were saying, right? Like, it seems like Dignitas is going to go, just play whatever you have, you're best with Lassus.
Yeah.
Loki, there's no Agni in this game. Scylla banned out. They're expecting the Agni pick, so they preemptively pick Loki. There it is, locked in. So the Loki matchup versus Agni is definitely what they're looking for here. Loki, probably the best counter to Agni in the game, able to follow him through that dash and the burst damage. One thing about Agni is he does have to go completely immobile to shoot off his meteors. If he shoots off 3, that gives enough time for a Loki, especially with a girdle of might, to burst him down very, very quickly. So once again, Lassus trying to bring Loki back into competitive meta.
So let's talk a little bit about the fact that last week when we saw Loki come out, he was attached to Aphrodite the entire time. This time he doesn't have that, pure Aegis and that healing. Granted, he will have the Geb shield available, but that's a far cry weaker than
that's right.
The overall soulmate situation.
Almost always match with the Aphrodite here, and back off is probably going to be posing a lot of troubles for Loki here. It does a tremendous amount of damage and pushes him away from being able to deal damage of his own. And
plus, birds can track him if it flies. Can track him through the stealth.
Yeah, you can see the birds' damage being dealt through the stealth. Plus, there's only really 2 great targets for Loki to try to kill here, the Agni and maybe the Neith, but Neith pretty mobile. Aphrodite, a very difficult target to bring down. Tyr, yeah, right, and some will call him, yeah, right, good luck, Loki. But it's not the easiest game in the world here for Lassus' Loki, but he does have the Agni, at least a tee off on, and a Geb shield to bail him out, plus the damage from Zeus. I mean, the Assassinate into Lightning Storm, or Lightning Call, I'm sorry, from Zeus there, is going to be very, very difficult to deal with if you're Agni in the mid lane. It's a lot of burst and a lot of CC.
So, guys, that's going to be it for picks and bans. I think the draft on paper will go to Cognitive, but Dignitas has been known to do a lot of things with a lot of low-tier picks in the past. This could be a really important game. Remember, guys, if Dig loses, they will maintain their first seed overall for the Smite World Championships. If Cog wins this, they will have their first win of the season. However, they will not be able to take first seed away. This, however, will put them into second seed guaranteed.
It will indeed. We'll see if Cognitive can take the #1 seed for next week here with a win over Dignitas in 2 games, or Dignitas force a 3rd DM. We'll find out in just a couple of minutes here as we wait for the Spectator Client countdown. Don't go anywhere, guys. For DM Brandon, I'm hi-rez Barton. We'll be right back with Team Dignitas versus Cognitive. 1-0 advantage to Cog in a best of 3. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to what could be your final game here in the Grand Finals. Team Dignitas versus Cognitive Gaming. Cog up 1-0. My name is hi-rez Bart. Joining me on co-commentary, DM Brandon.
Hello.
Please allow me to introduce your teams. They are the Order Team, wearing the blue trunks, fighting out of the bottom of the minimap on the left side of your spectator UI. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Dignitas, they are Anatoly in the solo lane as Hades. Shadow Q will be your support. Geb pairing up with Zapman in the duo as Uller. Lassus in the jungle as Loki, and the best in the mid lane as the God of Gods, Zeus. Their opponents today are the Chaos Team, wearing the red trunks, fighting on the top side of the minimap and the right side of your spectator UI. Ladies and gentlemen, Cognitive Gaming North America, they are Barracuda and Jeff Hinla pairing up for the Neath Sun Wukong duo lane. Anister out of the jungle as Tyr. You have MLC Stealth holding down the mid lane as Agni, and Megatron once again reprising his role as Aphrodite in the solo.
Overall, not too much craziness again going on. Everyone's kind of usually sticking to the meta here, though we do see Lassus finally breaking away from the Bumbus Mask and into Death Toll. He has also opted away from Hand 2 at the Death Toll and into the Potion of Physical Might, meaning he's going to start with a flat 35 damage, and you know he's looking for blood.
Oh, absolutely. It is a... oh, God. Oh, whew. My brain there just for a moment. Jeff Hinla's going to go hard on the Zapman here. They're going to find the pin as well, but they're not roaming as far to find the skill. Jeff Hinla takes a lot of damage for his trouble. It looks like Dignitas is going to take both of these early mid camps just like that. The early advantage from the boys in blue.
I'm surprised that 3 people just lost to 2, and great right there from Dig. Didn't use the Hand of the Gods either, so they're going to be able to burn that blue down very quickly.
They got the first camps in many of their games today, but haven't found a victory yet against Cog. We'll see how well they match up. Best, however, going to be hitting level 2, nearly level 3 by the time Stealth gets to lane, so some experience and opportunity lost for MLC Stealth.
Using that young Zeus skin, throwing those lightning bolts and keeping MLC at bay, ensuring that he can gain as much experience as possible while stripping away as much gold away from MLC. You can see MLC is already pretty far behind, sitting at 1,700, whereas the best already in the 18s.
Yeah, that's true, and looking over here at the solo lane, the old school duo lane Loki and Hades combination. The decoy into Devour Souls is a guaranteed wave clear at level 2, so...
look at that clear!
It's really, really gross to go up against, but Tyr Aphrodite certainly not slouches when it comes to clearing lanes.
And check out Lassus. This is the Lassus that I know. He's getting aggressive. He's already looking for opportunities to either steal away experience or go for kills. Now he has vanished. He's going in. Will Stealth dash the wave? He goes in. No, not quite in time. Stealth was smart to not dash the wave there. If he dashed, that would have been GG for him.
Yeah, but he does take some damage for his trouble, giving Best a little bit more advantage in the mid lane as well. Stealth can lose out on some gold as the creeps come under tower. Now it's going to be Best with rotation coming out to the left, but this time, no such shenanigans. Cogward spotting him out all the way in, and unless there's some CC coming out here from Zap, this is going to be an easy disengage for Barracuda.
But look at this. Lassus is in trouble. Dash Path of Flames. Lassus is going to be first blood.
First blood goes away of Cognitive Gaming here, and it's from the rotations. Both players from the soul lane come over and punish Lassus trying to get over-aggressive in the mid lane.
That actually might already spell the end of Lassus in this game. Take a look at the build. He's into boots one
all
here,
in.
But that pot is gone.
And they're going to take orange from him.
Yeah, and no Bumbus Mask. He has nothing to farm. He's level 3 right now, which is currently tied for lowest in the game. After the Best missed rotation as well, I mean, there's got to be some anger going on in the comms for Dig right now.
Out come the anti-red pot emotes into chat. No more starting pot available for Lassus, and he is hurting now. Loki's clear without a red pot at level 3. You can see how much damage he's taking from just this small XP camp now.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be rough, and without Bumbus to heal him back up, he's going to be relying on too much now. Anatoly, however, does dive and finds an opportunity to get a kill onto Omega. Now, this will do the 1-for-1, but we're going to need to see Anatoly kind of carrying Lassus through the rest of this early game, or he's going to start falling very far behind.
Yeah, he's going to need to soak the experience over there, I think, would be the best plan, I agree. Just try to find some levels, get level 5, and maybe try to set up some ganks at this point.
So we're getting into the 3-minute mark here, which means we're going to see respawns on the camps in the middle. Now, both Harpies, it looks like both Harpy camps are about to respawn. Lassus comes in there, gets the Hand of the Gods. I don't know if he got both. He definitely got one, but he's going to die for it.
He is indeed. Left side camps look like they did go to Shadow Q. Barracuda just throwing out some auto attacks for his trouble. Cog taking a 2-1 lead, but the gold from these mid camps still in favor of Dignitas.
Really? That's kind of incredible.
That is very incredible, I'll say. Even with the first play coming out, but not for long. It looks like here is Cognitive's going to go for a pre-4-minute Gold Fury.
I love it. Look at Jeff Himla tanking that up. He's getting ready to switch it off onto Andy, and they're going to switch it. Still, nobody even recognizes that this is happening. Shadow Q is still in the mid lane, and Gold Fury at 3 minutes, 55 seconds. Cognitive, gigantic boost in experience and gold there is going to take a huge lead.
Yeah, that thing I was talking about, not happening anymore. Dignitas does get the experience lead off of the back of that, found a little bit more by sticking to the lanes, but starting to go very, very close to evened out, and the first real gold advantage to Team Cog so far in this game. 1,600 gold in their favor.
And check out, as the experience gets wave to wave and cleaned up, the experience is actually slightly now in favor of Cog. You see them about 350, getting closer to 400, where the gold is almost 2,000. Incredible push. And as we get into the 4-minute mark and these buffs starting to respawn, you're going to see Lassus on the bottom side taking a lot of damage finally.
Anna in the right lane. Omega in some trouble, but there's big rotations coming in. Toli's going to dive, but does he have the disengage now? Anderson needs to find the field sheet. He's going to find it. Tower damage coming in as well. The further knock up.
Big.
He's dead.
That's big. Jeff actually almost went down there. Toli almost was able to turn that one around. Lassus, he's going to rotate in. He's going to go for... Is he going to sacrifice?
No, he can't.
No, okay. It was a good call. If he got that assassinate and didn't immediately find the kill or got fearless out of it or maybe went onto the wrong target and got hit by the Ox, he would have been instantaneously dead. Smart play. Take the experience, get some tower damage, and keep farming.
But Loki will find a lot of tower damage here. Red buff active, that means these auto attacks have some decent pen to them up against the tower. Going to take it down to about half health, so glimmers of hope here for Dignitas. Lassus needs to disengage, so he's going to start taking tower shots here. Looks like he wants to stand as long as possible. Now going to need a couple of tower shots for his trouble. Awkward play there. Not going to be really able to go and aggress much more after this. And Anderster, does he have the blink up and running? He does. Lassus.
Oh, God. You know that what you did was great if you just dodged an Andy Fearless.
But they're not done just yet. Over the
Andy
top.
Back in! Ultimate coming through! Fearless! Power cleave not going to be going through, but he still finds it. It looks like the ultimate's going to be wasted from Barracuda, but they didn't need it, and Anatoly's going to be shoved out here, sitting underneath his tower. Incredible play. Cognitive up 4-2.
Wow, yeah, already another dominant performance so far in the early game. Doesn't look like Dignitas has been able to get their head around that early loss. Don't seem to be playing very well from behind in this game, at least. They barely made it out of the round of 4 with a wonderful comeback, and now having some trouble with the superior cognitive team, it appears, so far in this matchup. 6 minutes in, they're already sitting on a respectable 2,000 gold advantage off of that early Gold Fury. Granted, Anatoly is doing well. The soul lane is up against the Aphrodite. Taking a look at the dual lane here, Barracuda sitting at level 8.
Blink over in the right lane. Fearless. He's not going to be able to get out of this one. He's going to be stuck again. Omega's in a lot of trouble. Still has death from below, but Jeff Himla's in there. Can he block it? He doesn't get there in time. Anatoly's going to go down, but that's still going to shut him down once again. Actually, he just healed himself back up. No, he's going down. 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, nonetheless, Anatoly falls again, but they keep Aphrodite down in this game, so she won't be that crazy frontliner come mid-game, at least for the moment. Anatoly, however, these trades, not sure if they're that great. He does have the blink, and he's finding the kills, as we mentioned, and Bancroft's talent is done, but he's going to need a 3 or 4 man pillar of agony, it feels like, to really get Dignitas comfortably back into this game.
So right now, mid camps are still down. There's not really much to farm in the jungle. In fact, the 2 small camps that are available are down. Really, only that's available is the top right blue buff, which doesn't look like to be too pressured by the enemy team here. It looks like Cog does have the opportunity to grab it. The issue here is that Omega is still level 8. This ensures that birds aren't maxed, and he doesn't have access to his level 2 ultimate. Now, usually Aphrodite is going to opt away from finishing that ultimate until after backoff is done, but given the fact that he has been locked down inside that Hades ultimate, it's going to be hard. Now, the best in mid lane took a lot of damage. Stealth took a lot of damage. Andy actually going to go back to the base here. Nothing gained overall for either team, except Stealth might be in some trouble.
Last? Yeah, that's a kill.
Maybe Vanish damage?
More. Yes, Vanish damage is there. The poison is good, so Lassus does get himself onto the board. Good news for Team Dignitas so far, but it's not looking great for them, to be perfectly honest with you. And like I said, they have to have a really big team wipe, I feel like, to get themselves comfortably back into a position to aggress in this early game period. Best news is Anatoly's sitting at level 10, but Stealth has had such success roaming the map so far in this game, and Bess has been just camping the mid lane and is still behind in levels, which is really, really dangerous. So speaking of really dangerous, Zapman in a lot of trouble.
Andister major trouble.
Finds it. Oh, finds all of it, and that is a very, very dead Uller. You can't get hit by the Lawbringer and the Fearless Chain, one or the other. Probably he could have survived, but with both of them and no boots and no sprint, no way he's making out of that alive.
So early on in the picking phase, we talked about how right away they should steal away the tier. All the major junglers were taken out in Hunbots and Bastet. The real only other top-tier jungler at that point are going to be Nemesis, which was avoided again, and Tier. Given the fact that Lassus, especially at the launch tournament, had such an amazing performance, and that Andy has had such a strong Tier in the past, it would definitely be the best pick. And look at the board right now. He's 3-0-2, second highest farm on the team at 5,600. He's actually second highest farm in the game right now, comparatively to Lassus, who's at 4,600, also second highest on his team, respectively, but still 1,000 gold behind.
Totally going in on the right side. Lassus is here as well, but he's going to try to hold off Andister, and they're immediately going to have a reaction. Neathal coming out onto Lassus, and he is dead yet again. The control is just too real. The Loki pick, without the tier being banned out and without the Aphrodite to back him up, is just not working out.
Can we talk about how Barracuda basically lives in the future, that he's able to call these ults every single time?
I mean, it's just on reaction. They see Loki on the map anywhere near another player, and it's an immediate ult. Zapman's going to go in on the Barracuda, though, but he's
double fearless! Double power cleave!
Oh, just off of the XP camp there. Zapman does find a kill on the Barracuda in the long lane, but in the meantime, Best goes down to Jeff Hindla. A lot of damage coming out from that Lightning Storm, but it's still a double kill for Jeff Hindla on the support. Anatoly going to try to come back. I think that Creeping Curse actually missed Jeff Hindla going back out in front, and that's a double kill for the support early on in the game. Granted, they find a kill on to Barracuda for Zapman. But
look at the greed.
Oh,
doesn't quite get it. Birds back off. Gonna find it. Anatoly again gonna lose his blue buff. Andy will escape, sitting now almost full health, but not a speck of mana to be found.
Zapman's going to creep skip here and continue attacking the tower. He may actually be able to find this tower gold for Dignitas before all is said and done. Too many recalls to really try to stop it. Only one more minion, though.
Lass is in trouble.
Not going to be able to stay in.
Oh, Lass was about 1 foot away from taking that Path of Flames, which would have ended him completely. You're seeing he's sitting under 200 gold, or rather, about 200 health right now, as Shadowq moves in to try to keep this lane confirmed.
Ooh. It is such a tenuous game for Dignitas right now. They're still close, but it could fall into no opportunities whatsoever to come back into this very, very quickly is what you have to be careful of. If another team wipe into Gold Fury happens, Cog is going to be so far ahead. They're now going to look to go and aggress at the orange buff, it appears. Zapman throwing out a stun, missing Jeff Hindla. Fearless ain't going to miss this time. First miss of the game for Andister, and that's good news for Dignitas. For now, Lassus is over here, but what target does he try to go in on? It's got to be Stealth, but he just can't find him. Best going to get stunned out by Cat Form. Jeff Hindla continuing on in. Do they have a Chain Lightning or Lightning Storm here to do a lot of damage? They find a lot out of Jeff Hindla. Jeff goes down to the range damage from the Bladed Arrow, and a nice engagement from Dignitas. They find themselves a pick.
That is a really bad spot for Cog, because that means 4v3 right now near the Gold Fury with no support available, meaning no level 3 Hand of the Gods to try to stop this. Barra really needs to just find a kill. Oh, but Zapman's going to jump deep. Lassus looking for damage. MLC Stealth's going to get hit by everything, and he's going to go down, but Andy's in there. Zapman gets low, but just barely gets out, but Barra finds the kill. Andy just trying to stay alive at this point. He doesn't quite have enough damage or healing or sustain to get in there, and Barra, though he does lose it, will be able to keep them off here. Look at the amount of damage he's able to put out. Oh my god.
Barracuda!
You can't be serious.
Oh my god.
Barracuda.
What a player. Had the ward to spot him out there, it just disappears now. But Lassus, it's got to be salty. I mean, he just finds his first 2 kills. He gets back into the game, right? He finds 2 kills. He's feeling good about himself. He's got his heart seer going, and then popped by the fish.
You know Barra's feeling himself on that one. He has to be. What an incredible shot. And he's like, Spirit Arrow, Unravel, everyday stuff for me, no problem. I guess I'll go do some tower damage. Not to mention, he not only saved the Gold Fury, but he found 2 kills in response to even that exchange out. I don't understand. I don't understand.
That old fish smack.
Right side, looks like the creeps are going to take down the tower, answer the tier 1 that was taken by Zapman over in the left side, and that's going to increase Cognitive's reign. I mean, that's 3,500 gold in the lead.
Ouch.
Look at Jeff Hindla with the... Oh, doesn't get it.
Oh, he was so close there. There's the Master's Will coming out to disengage. The rotations are real for Cog, too. They started shading 2 over there the minute it looked like there was going to be a fight. Lassus going to make his way over to the right, maybe looking for some damage out onto the Omega. No, he actually... Well, does he notice it? The orange buff just came up, but he hasn't gone and checked it yet. Omega's recalling. Now he's not. They're trying to bait it out. Oh, Lassie had such an opportunity to steal an orange here, but he's just waiting out this Aphrodite. They're going to try for the blink in.
He's going for
Here
it.
it comes.
He's under. Birds are already down. They don't find it. Omega will escape. Lassus still has the opportunity, as does Anatoly. You can see some damage coming out, but not nearly enough, and the silence is wasted.
Big missed opportunity there. Obviously, Dignitas doesn't have the vision that we do to see that orange buff was up, but he would have gotten so much more out of taking that over the fail gank onto Omega there. Not looking so good for Team Dignitas now. 8 kills to 11. They are still keeping this within reasonable distance for this to be called an even game. Less than 3,000 gold separating these two teams, and 3,000 experience as well to boot. All things told, Dignitas fighting from behind, but not so far behind just yet, and they have got a few kills on the last 12. He was quite a bit more behind this. Does he have the assassinate here to follow this up? He does, but Barracuda's going to backflip it in time. They do take down Jeff Hinla before he takes to the skies. Luckily enough for them, that's good news. They don't have the Sun Wukong to deal with, plus an objective after this fight could be real. Cog needs to go all in to prevent Lassus and the rest of Dignitas from having the HP to try for Gold Fury now that their hog is down. In the meantime, right side, Anister finds a solo kill onto Toli.
Zap's gone back here. Lassus and the best have nothing to really offer, and Shadowq's going to force out. That's free Gold Fury.
Yeah, it should be, but they don't have that hand from Sun Wukong. Still not up for another 8 seconds. Stealth going to get stunned out, but he's going to bees it immediately. Shadowq's here. He's going to find the knockup, but they don't have the follow-up to do much here. And if Dig over pursues, the tier is rotating and ready to party. So they're going to go ahead and look for this Gold Fury, but Shadowq is here. Hog 3 is operational. Sun Wukong making his way over. Cog forced to disengage.
Really great positioning there the whole time from Shadowq. Kept himself in the game without putting himself in a dangerous spot, just to ensure that he can defend his teammates and follow up in team fights. And just his presence was enough, like you call, Bart, without Sun Wukong, to ensure they couldn't gain that 1,500 gold. Kill for kill there, Cog still winds up finding an extra 500 at a farm, and you're going to see them ahead now 4K.
Dignitas going to take a look at the Gold Fury here, but there is a Sentry Ward spotting them out. And they're gonna make their way over to it. Sun Wukong is here in the mid lane. Zapman gonna try to stall him a little bit with some damage, but it looks like they're perfectly happy to rotate him in a bit later and look for the steal. Dignitas is pretty much past the point of no return on Gold Fury. Jeff Hinla now the one with the aggro. In comes the Geb ultimate, still not far enough. Dignitas does find the Gold Fury. Can they find Jeff Hinla as well? It looks like they will be able to find the monkey. Indeed, they can. What an engagement from Dignitas. Zapman falls to the blink. Anister in the backlines. Lassus is still here, zoning out Barracuda. Is there an assassin available? There is a Loki ultimate still. Oh, he's going to go in. He wants to find Barra. He has the damage. Down goes Barra. Loki starting to show his own as the assassin that he is. Gold Fury plus 2 kills going the way of Team Dignitas.
I only wish that Lassus didn't opt into the red pot to start. He would be 400 gold deeper than he is right now, meaning he would have another... He actually would be very close to finishing that Jotun's Wrath.
He's still 1,000 gold behind Andy, though. And Andy's going to have what appears to be a shifter shield up shortly here on the tier.
But Dignitas did manage to find a total of 1,400 gold in their last engagement to ensure that they can continue trying to keep themselves in this game. But 4,000 experience also separated teams, which is reflected highly in both Andy and Stealth, both sitting level 16.
So, Last now sitting at level 13, starting to make his way back into it. Well, at least holding with the enemy support of Jeff Hinla. Still 3 levels behind Anister, but he's working on that girdle as the girdle of power. He'll have a Jotun's Wrath and a girdle of might, it appears, roughly around the same time, which gives him a lot more burst damage and a lot of pen. Is it going to be enough, however, to get through the tankiness of Anister already with the shifter shield plus the sovereignty passive from Jeff Hinla? You know, he has to continue to isolate targets like the Neath and the Agni to continue to find the kills, and it seems like he is Dignitas' key to getting back into this game is keeping cognitive off balance with the Loki assassinations.
So, Omegatron is bottom gold right now on his team, which is very strange to see a position like that for Aphrodite. I think she actually heard the banish there. Lassus not going to quite find the damage he was looking for. Left side, Zap's in trouble. Fearless power creep. He's going to beads. It's going to stop a lot of damage come through, but Andy's going to look for something. Can Zapman get away from this? Nice axe toss. Jeff's continuing to look forward. Oh, great shield coming out from Shadowq. Keeps him alive.
That was a very, very well-played disengagement by Zapman instead of running into the tower, running into the jungle to meet up with Shadowq as well as build more distance in him in the tier, so tier couldn't find an angle for the Fearless. Smart stuff, but yeah, questionable for Zapman to stay in here. Beads used by Barracuda. Anatoly's going to blink in as well, but he's going to get knocked up by Jeff Hinla before any spells come out. He's going to try to re-engage now. moving in more and more and more. Devour Souls coming up, but not finding anyone else. Lassus in the backline, Girdle used. He's going to try to assassinate stealth. No, it's just going to be the Vanish attack, and then moving back out. Not enough damage to find the kill just yet. Lassus does have the ultimate disengage here, as Anderson's doing a lot of damage to him. He's going to regret not using that. Oh, he's knocked up. Wow, oh wow.
He's got to be regretting that one. That's got to hurt.
Level advantage tier.
And look at all the while, Omega's like, I could be Aphrodite in team fight because I have like one of the best team fights in the game. Or I can just let my team, who I'm super confident in, find a kill where they don't really deserve one, and then I'll take a tier 2, 1,500 gold again, added to the coffers.
Yeah,
gaming.
And a big Hades rotation out there that didn't find anything. I mean, the Devour Souls was really looking for a lot of damage, wasn't able to convert anything, and they lose Lassus in the meantime, in the process. They're now going to have a Phoenix being pressured on the right side and a very fat Aphrodite off of those 5 or 6 free waves.
You see her just stealing the blue buff right now?
Casual auto attacks.
The cojones right now on Omega as he finally takes a trip back to the base in hand right now. 2,300 gold. He just bought himself. He finished up the Voidstone, bought full Heavenly Agility.
Such as the life. Anderson finds the channel the best, but it speeds out before the knockup happens. Anatoly wants to initiate here, but he's going to get a little bit of an awkward initiation. There it is, coming out and Anderson and Jeff Hindla. There's a Lightning Storm used by Zeus as well. Is it going to be enough damage? Looks like they will find a kill onto Andy for now, but Anatoly takes a lot of damage for his trouble. Force out the shield from Shadow Q so the Barracuda ultimate doesn't just clean him up. I'm sorry, it's not actually available. Lassus now looking to rejoin the fight. Going to take out some mid Harpies on his way, and doesn't look like Dignitas is really looking to bring the fight underneath the tier 1 and mid.
Sun Wukong back at the base, kill there. They're gonna look, they're gonna look towards the Fire Giant. They're gonna rush it down. This is not a good opportunity for them, though. If this is spotted out, I think Barra recognizes it, so does Stealth. Do they have the damage? It's getting about 60% here, getting closer to 50. It's spotted. Barra's in there, throws out the Unravel. Here comes Jeff Hindla. Cataclysm not going to land the way that he wants it. They're turning on to Shadow Q, just trying to find the kill before it has an opportunity. Shadow Q goes down. It's into. They're going to be able to pick this one off here. Before they can get it. They need it a little bit lower. Jeff's chasing away.
Barracuda now the one in there. Anatoly going to try to make his way back in, but Jeff Hindla still has that Hog Fury available. Or maybe it's down, maybe it's taking camps. Doesn't matter because there's a kill on Anatoly, and that will be the Gold Fury. In favor. Oh, wow. Look how low Barracuda and Jeff Hindla get right as that falls down. But let's hold the phone as Omega is going deep onto Best. Back off going to miss, and that is going to cue the disengage. But a sneak Fire Giant attempt from Dignitas goes south, and Cog takes 4 kills, plus the most important objective on the map.
Yeah, they only lost Stealth there. He's already up in 10 seconds. Take a look at the gold, Bart. 6,200. We have 8,800 experience separating the two teams with no one at level 20. That is a pure experience lead. And look at Andy. Look at him right now. Where is he's just stealing away everything that he can. Actually, he's looking.
He wants a kill here on the
solo kill.
No, he's not going to go in once he sees Shadow Q is there. The Geb shield just too good against the knockup.
Not to mention, he has Magi's, meaning even if he hit both, the Geb shield was guaranteed to go off into Zeus. That would have been saved. Very smart patience coming out from Andy. Now, Shadow Q recognizing the path taken, he's going to rotate in, but can he get in there to save the Gold Fury?
Now he's going to blink away to avoid the chain CC coming out from Cog. Now no blink available to try to contest this. This is free Gold Fury to Cognitive Gaming, building their gold lead to a very respectable 7,500, 9,000 experience in their favor as well, and it's really on them to continue looking for fights around the map. They have to force Dignitas to fight them. While they have this advantage, Dignitas has shown that they can come back from behind with big burst-oriented teams like they have here. They are the superior team-fighting team, it appears, as well. Not only by the ultimates, but also by the players. But Cog has done a great job so far of finding 1v1 engagements during these team fights, somehow isolating people and letting their player skills take over. Right side lane.
Zatman, I don't see where he's going. Heavenly Agility's going to be used. He was smart on the beads, but can he get away? Smart shot onto... Oh, but he turned around.
He's got a man up. He's dead.
Wow!
Wow. All right, there are no words. Just Zatman. He got zapulated. That's all that happened there. There's really nothing else to say about that one.
Omega's got to be pretty salty about that. That was just pure outplayed. He took an ultimate from another player and then still outboxed Aphrodite, one of the best 1v1 characters in the game. Incredible.
Ouch. That's tough. Luckily, he doesn't have to do more of this game, though, so it's not a big reset for him in terms of damage. But Zap got to be feeling good about that one. Should have tried to bolster the team on the back of that 1v1 onto a very tricky target.
Omega here doesn't have any physical defense and will send his restored artifact into Chronos Pendant. It looks like he is going to opt away from breastplate and finish off that
missed the ultimate there.
Oh, that's rough. He's going to be forced out. Look at the damage from Stealth getting sent out to Zapman here. We have a 3v5 in the mid lane. Now, remember, only 2 of them here have Fire Giant, but Andy is rotating down with the belt as well. And I think Lassus is going to recognize the immediate threat. Will Andy look for the blink opportunity? No, gonna back out.
I don't know, but Lassus dumped his girdle plus his ultimate in that fight, hitting no one, dealing no damage as the Neath backflipped out of the way. That's a lot of cooldowns blown to not find any damage. In the meantime, we're gonna have a rematch over in the left side lane here. We'll try to keep an eye on that as Cog is pushing into the tier 2 in mid. Anatoly gonna eat an ultimate from Neath. In comes to the Fearless Chain from Anister. No physical protection on Anatoly yet, just goes down to that tier so easily. Mid tower goes down. Still, Omega is getting fairly low. Zapman, is he going to go deep here?
Well, I mean, check out Zapman in the melee stance using his level 3 passive, which could be level 3 at this point, just to actually, it's guaranteed at least level 3 to get that healing onto him as much as possible, trying to trade with him. But look at the damage coming out. A kiss could really be a lot of damage here. Back off, going to slam into him. He's trying to keep himself alive, but check out the shell. Zapman just trying to find a way to lifesteal with the auto attacks. If Omega lands another kiss, he will die.
The bird's hit!
Oh my god.
The bird's hit, but Zap's going back in. Oh, he's dead. He's dead to back off here. Wait, he's getting a lot of HP. Birds, another birds. More HP from the melee. Oh, he got wrecked.
That was a really fun fight to watch.
Hats off to both the players there. Very, very close. Aphrodite, those cooldowns just, with the Chronos Pendant finish in this fight, that was the difference it looked like.
I think they should offer terms right now. It's 1-1. They should take it. Winner wins the game.
Just a 1v1?
Yeah, just do it.
That's true, that's true. But in the meantime, Dignitas does hold Cog off from their Phoenix. So a nice play there. They nearly take out the tier. Didn't quite. Oh, no, they did. I'm sorry. They did convert the kill onto Andister. So he went a little bit deep, missed the Fearless Chain onto Best, who got the 3 stacks. Stunned him out under Phoenix, and that was that. He got Omega regulated.
You stop. Please. Fire Giant coming up soon, guys. It looks like it's inside 1 minute. All the buffs have, I think, thus since rescinded from the players. Our next major grouping is going to be there. MLC actually accidentally resetting that camp there is going to take an extra 3 or 4 seconds to finish that up. Top side, Omega actually going to go for blue buff. Going to try to, I guess, sustain mana, give some to his partners as well. But keep in mind that the CDR will not be active there, as that CDR is already effective and capped through his items.
Oh, totally. He's in some trouble here. He's going to get casted out by Jeff Hinla. Barracuda does have the opportunity for the pin through the wall here. Going to go for the heal, attack speed slow. Anatoly still making his way out. Best is there. Ult. He's going to blink. Blinks away from the ult. But now Zapman's missed a stun onto Anderson, who's going to have a lot of control here. Chain Lightning does hit, but it's not going to be enough to save the Zapman, who gets Law brought to his face and will go down there. Totally down the one in trouble. Flame Wave, just too much damage. Loki and Geb in the backlines unable to initiate. Last is going to try to push out the mid wave here and just sneak a little experience, it looks like, as the boys of Cog are going to maybe make a try onto the Fire Giant.
It looks like a split push opportunity. They're going to send Andy to lane. The remaining 4 are going to go in here, and it looks like Shadow Q is just not where he needs to be. By the time he even gets over there, this thing's going to be long gone.
Shadow Q. They're not taking it too fast. He can make his way in here. No, so close. Now he's likely to pay for his life here as his rollout is down. 5-man knockup. That happened, but not going to be enough to stop them. In the meantime, though, Dignitas in Dignitas fashion, they're going to take a split push tower on the back of that. Lassus finds the mid tier 2, and even has an opportunity to push up the tier 2 on the left, but he's going to make his way into the Phoenix for now. So it's only a 4-man push coming into this right side Phoenix. As Anatoly comes back up, it's currently a 3v4 at the Phoenix. If Lassus is able to recall, should be okay. He's going to try to backdoor this tier 2 on the left. Now, will Barracuda make it in time? Lassus is going to damage race the tower. I don't think he can stay in here. It's going to be really, really close. He's going to get it. Barracuda pops a sprint. Can Lassus get out? If this pin hits through the vanished Barracuda, officially best Hunter World. No, misses it through the wall, and he wasn't vanished anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Lassus, though, has an assassinate into aim strike. Barracuda going to tick down to the vanished damage, but it's not going to be enough to finish him off, just to make him unhappy. Take a look at the Phoenix fight, though, DM, as Zapman lands a stun on a stealth. Yeah,
they're actually going to turn onto Zapman as well. He's got those birds ticking on him. They're going to back off in MLC with these bombs just raining damage. That Hellfire just spawning all over the place, ensuring that Dig can't maintain. But without the major push potential from the Hunter roll, they have not been able to pick up that Phoenix. Anatoly's going to bind 3, but 1 jumps out. We're going to get a Cataclysm as well. Omega keeping himself up for as long as possible. Check out the healing. Lass is in there. He's going to have an opportunity here, especially with that Geb shield, and Omega will go down. Barra nowhere to be found. Rare footage of Barra not being in position.
And they hold yet again. Dignitas holds on to their base, down 7 kills. Taking a look at the gold, about 7,000 gold between the two teams now. Experience about 12k, but that's starting to fall off as players hit level 20. We're moving into the late game stages here, and Zatman, you're pretty out of position here, buddy. I'm not sure how he's going to make it out of this one. There's the leap. There's a follow-up from Stealth, and down you go. Zatman takes a spill, just getting a bit greedy. Cog hadn't backed yet. Anatoly going to be in the front line now, but he is just not a tank.
Lassus is in there. He finds the kill. Are they going to try to turn it to last now? Flame Wave's going to be used. Assassinate for the escape, and he will get out, just getting the kill onto Tier, and yet still no tower.
If you are just joining us, guys, the third, fourth place matchup did go the way of the Game Changers over Snipe, so they take third in this week. Snipe takes fourth. We are watching game number 2 of a best-of-3 series in the grand finals between Cog and Dig. Cognitive Gaming up 1-0 and ahead in this game at 28 minutes 50 seconds.
This has been 2 games where Cognitive has just completely put Dig on the defensive, and both times Dig has answered back. Maybe not enough to really keep them out completely, but I mean, for 2 games now, we have seen these Phoenixes last a very long time. Yeah,
they definitely have. You're absolutely right there. And Lassus is going to go have a split push.
I mean, why not? Try to get something down, honestly. They're going to need another answer.
Oh, no, now he actually has really, really interesting positioning here as the Gold Fury gets started by Cog, but I don't think he could go to 3. The control from Sun Wukong is just there. Master's Will is a guaranteed knock-up onto him, and we've seen what that does, but he may have an opportunity to get a kick onto Barracuda. Barracuda goes into the blue buff. Jeff Hinla's still here. Yeah, and Jeff Hinla rotates right on over as he hears that Vantage come out.
But right lane, Omega got switched onto 2. Anatoly's got him caught here. No ultimate just yet. He's going to use it and get out, barely taking any damage. And then we talked about this. While Hades will destroy Aphrodite in lane, at this point in the game, there's no answer for Afro.
Yeah, they have a really hard time locking her down. Her HP pool is sufficiently large with the Warlock Sash plus her level 20 that it's very hard to burst her down. Granted, without a lot of protection, she'll take a lot of damage, but it's just not enough to kill her in most cases.
So now Cognitive, not really... Wait, Lass is in a lot of trouble. He's stunned out. Andy missed the shot there. Lass is going to be forced to ult here. He does get over the wall. Lawbringer going to come as well. I don't know he's going to try to do the dash. I'm surprised we saw those abilities in that order, but MLC still finds the shot necessary to stun him out, and now Lass once again gets picked off.
So no Loki available. That's got to be a pretty good feeling for Cognitive. He's down for 50 seconds. They can group and push without any fear of the backline's getting assassinated, but doesn't look like they're too interested in doing that just yet. Maybe they're going to coalesce here on the mid lane, but their waves are just coming out. The whole map pushed up pretty far by Dignitas is going to save them a little bit of time here. Lassus maybe only down for 10-15 seconds by the time the fight breaks out.
All right, so we're going to be pushing down the mid lane. It looks like Omega going to group up with the team. He's trying to rush down, but for now, 4 members of Cognitive trying to push into this Phoenix. 4 members of Dignitas going to try to defend, but only 1 here right now. Blink it, Kata's going to hit 3, but unfortunately, not a lot of control. Andy's going to take some damage, but he's already out of the fight, and they forced out, what, 3-4 ultimates from that one? Wait, yeah. No, just 1?
A lot of cooldowns were used, though, to keep the Hades alive. He's still in the pool, waiting to come back up. Anister's a bit low, not going to be able to blink initiate again. He's healing up on the orange camp, just off the left side of mid lane, but another disengage by Cog.
Well, we're going to have Fire Giant up in a few short seconds as the blink is going to ensure that it's coming up soon. Stealth taking a lot of damage here. Great coming in from Jeff Himla just to try to keep him alive, but the damage has been done. Dignitas might be able to turn this one around. They're
going to give it their all. Jeff Himla up to the sky. He's in no more trouble. Anatoly gets controlled by the tier. Just still no protection. And he's less tanky than the Aphrodite at this point with her ultimate. Zatman going to eat the stun for the Best. Now leaping away. Force uses beads. There's the ultimate trying to force a disengage by Best. Not going to be enough, and maybe enough to save his life, at least for the moment. Rotating back in towards the mid lane with the rest of his team. Zatman in the back line is going to get cleaned up by Anister. Lassus now pinned out. He goes down as well. That's a lot of the damage from Dignitas gone as the Best ultimate is down as well. Only an ultimate available from Toly and Zatman, both of whom are dead. Oh, Zatman, of course, is just the stance switch. Of course, he always has that, but Cog going to push their way in. Shadow Q has the ultimate now. Look for the Blink Cataclysm just to buy time. On to 3. Best still no ultimate here. Even with a Beads 3 use, not going to make it in time. Phoenix actually, down
that's
in the mid.
Blink 1. That's on cooldown.
Oh, you're right.
That is still Blink 1. Smart back here from Cog. Not going to get greedy. Go back, heal up, get to the Fire Giant. We still have 30 seconds before Lassus is up. 27 before Zatman. Anatoly will be up in time, but really, it's going to be up to Shadow Q to just find a steal.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's going to be tough. It's an all-in situation now for Dignitas. They have to find it.
So moving forward here, we do have a major grouping, looks like from both teams. Anatoly trying to burn his way down the mid lane, trying to catch up to the best, who looks like he's going to take some time to clear out some of the fire minions. They're going to find ShadowQ in the meantime, who looks like he might be able to escape, just barely getting away from the Fearless from Andy, and immediately the 5 members of COG are just trying to burn this down. Actually 4, Omega goes back to the base, or rather just comes up. He's trying to get over there. ShadowQ's working his way in. Blink, Kata's gonna hit one, and COG does manage to find it. ShadowQ's in trouble here. No Fearless gonna come out. Zatman jumps over the wall. They're gonna look to try to at least pick a few shots off, but unfortunately ultimates are used and wasted, as Anatoly is very much able to get out of that one alive.
Dignitas looks like they want to fight and maybe take some of these buffs off of COG as they continue pushing into this right tier 2. Lassus has a nice angle to find some kills from behind, but he's going to have to initiate into a lot of them here, and yeah, he's going to think better of that and make his way back out after throwing out a decoy. Omega going to go get into his face.
I like the option here from both teams. Dignitas needs to make something out of nothing by taking a tier 2. COG knows that they can't go any farther, so giving the tier 2 up to go heal. Both teams, I think, benefited from that last part of the engagement, but unfortunately for Dignitas in that time, they did lose the Fire Giant, which means Cognitive once again has them on the defensive.
Absolutely. Dignitas running back. They have to defend now. Oh my goodness, this is such a bad position for Dignitas. They are really on the ropes here. It has to be like the perfect initiation. The Geb 5-man Cataclysm into the Zeus ultimate with the Hades ultimate there as well to keep them all in, and then a big detonate to get the kill.
Anatoly right now still not level 20, going towards 34 minutes. Last has been found. Back off damage. Where is it? Late from Omega could have been it. And oh, the Lawbringer's going to be wasted. Rare footage of Omega missing a shot there. Detonate's going to do some damage to Andy, but be almost immediately healed back up by Omega. Look at that. What in the world?
But look at this. COG double shell now. Good. So this big AoE shell team comp from Dig is going to be in a lot of ways. They're going to be mitigated by these shells. It has a very long duration if they use them back to back. In fact, it would be 10 seconds of plus 45 protections to both magical and physical, and 15% damage mitigation off the top.
That's a really big deal, especially considering, you know, they have the Zeus damage, the Hades damage. Blink Kata gonna come in, Shell gonna be activated. They're trying to find something here, but COG is separated awkwardly. Last is gonna be forced out. MLC turning the fight around in an instant as Anatoly tries to find something, but only finds death in the process. Lassus goes down from Barracuda. Sights turned on to Zatman. Shingu Bang gonna do some damage, but not enough. Zatman throws out a desperation. Axe tosses. Jeff Himla's gonna find the cat and bring down the Zap. Overall, the Phoenix will go down. The best is in a lot of trouble. 4 people down for Cognitive, or rather for Dignitas, as they move into the Titan, Bart. I think this one's it. First, or rather third week, gonna go to Cognitive.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna find their first win of the Smite World Championship qualifiers. As the Titan falls, the Chaos team takes it. Cognitive Gaming, 2-0 over Dignitas in week number 3.
After 2 amazing weeks coming out from the boys on Dig, it looks like the boys on COG have kind of reclaimed their throne. That was the first time we've seen COG really in their game since before the launch tournament.
That's right, King COG reigns supreme this week.
Yeah, that's... So, taking a look at the damage here right off the bat, I mean, it's important to note that the best put out 50,000 damage.
Nuts.
But, I mean, he couldn't confirm it. There was not enough to do to kill because Omega put out 15k in healing, and that's just to other players on his team. Who knows how much he healed himself for?
At least ShadowQ got a Soul Reaver this game. At least there's that. I love that item on supports, but yeah, that early death on Loki, man. Red Pot, you got to think if Lassus had played that way without that early death, yeah, that would have been a very much more difficult, not very much more, but a much more difficult game for Cognitive. With that Red Pot, with a little bit more of the snowball, he played very well through the mid-game, found some great picks, was very elusive, but just wasn't able to seal the deal for his team and create the space that it really needed to.
Fire Giants didn't go the way of Dignitas. The fights just were awkward. I mean, the one time they tried to bait, they got caught out. They took too much damage from the knock-up and the boulder tosses and the lava, and by that point in Game 1, they just really couldn't bring it back. In Game 2, it just felt like COG controlled every single point of the game.
Yeah, they really did. That was a very, very nice looking performance by COG, looking like they're in old form DM, and they take down week number 3 of the Smite World Championships. That's going to do it for our coverage today, guys. For DM Brandon, I'm hi-rez Bart, and that's going to take us into a quick recap video from today's tournament, and then we will be signing off. Thank you all for tuning in. For everyone, all of the players, all of the admins, all of the production staff, myself and DM, thank you for tuning in, and it was great to have you here with us on the Saturday. Don't forget to tune in for tomorrow's tournament in Europe, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, approximately 16 hours from now. That will be kicking off, so come back for that if you want to check the Europeans in action. DM, final thoughts?
Honestly, it's exciting to see COG do this well again next week. I think Dig's going to come back strong, and I'm excited to see what they're both going to bring to the table.
Me too. Will Snipe find their first place victory? Will the Game Changers finally make it in to the grand finals? Find out next week here in the North American tournament scene. Enjoy the video roll, guys, and we'll see you all next week.